All right. Well, welcome to a very special episode of Be Brilliant with Jing podcast. Today, I'm joined by Darsh. What?
Yes, Darshwad, yeah, you got
What?
it right. You got it right, Jing.
Yes.
You did it, yes.
And you're the host of the official ASNA podcast.
Yes.
Tell us first where we are right now.
So it's funny you asked that, Jing. So this is the first time that our podcasts are collaborating, and we're going to be looking forward to doing this more in the future. And we are here for the first ever live video podcast that's being done at the 35th Annual ASNA Convention in the majestic Niagara. We're here at the Sheraton Hotel overlooking the Niagara Falls with around 900 energetic students right here. So it's an amazing time, and I'm so happy to be here. And I'm so grateful for you to come here and do this with us.
Well, congratulations, 900 students. That's a huge growth.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to school years and years ago. I don't want to date myself here, but it was a much smaller group, if you remember.
Yeah.
So now you guys doubled in size in what, 5, 6 years?
Honestly, it's the team that has come together to make this possible. We have great leadership minds and hard workers like Athanasios, Isaac, Abigail. We have great VP regionals like Sabrina, Annie, Redeemer, and these individuals have really like spread the word of what ASNA is. And once you realize the value that ASNA provides to students, I think anyone would fold and understand that this is the place to be. And it's honestly no surprise to me. I think this organization is only here to grow.
That's amazing. Tell us what's your role on the ASNA executive team and a bit more about ASNA's history.
Yeah, sure. So ASNA was incepted in 1989, and ever since then, it was a bunch of Waterloo students who actually started it. And ever since then, it's just been on the rise. I think it's the backbone of actuarial science in the country. It's paving the path of what it means to be an actuary. It's bringing together so many individuals, students at so many levels, professionals at so many levels, and it just is this network of people exchanging information and sort of like leveling up their knowledge, everyone at all levels. And that's a little bit of what ASNA's purpose is and the history of ASNA. And ever since then, it's just been going harder, bigger, better every single year. And that's the goal. We had a bit of a struggle period with COVID, but hey, the whole world did. So it is what it is. And ever since then, we've just been coming stronger and better. And you can clearly see by the statistics, the numbers don't lie, Jing. 900 students. And so my role is VP Communications right now. I started ASNA, my first ever ASNA was in 2023. I came in as a volunteer, and immediately I was smitten by this organization and what it does. I knew that I had to sign up to be part of the team, and I signed up to be director of sales. That was last ASNA in Montreal, which I love Montreal. So it was amazing, and I love ASNA. And in that role, I handled buses and registration, making sure students get here in time and making sure registration is as seamless as possible. And now as VP Communications, it's just making sure everyone has all the information they need. But the one feat that I'm super proud of as VP Communication, inspired by a podcast like the one you have, was starting a podcast for ASNA, because I feel like we have access as an organization to so many great minds and so many great stories. And why is it that you have to come to a career fair to pick their minds? Why can't you just do it at home? So my mind was thinking, I'm an avid podcast listener, and I'm sure you are as well.
Guilty.
Being a host of a brilliant Be Brilliant podcast yourself. So I thought of it, and ever since then, we've just been trying to get as many episodes out, and we're having a true blast.
Amazing. How many do you have now?
Oh, well, we have 4 episodes out so far, and this is going to be a collaboration episode with you and ASNA, and this is going to be the 5th one. And I don't know if this is going to be a hard one to beat, but we're going to keep improving our production to get something nice like this and, reach new strides, break new roofs, like just keep doing bigger and better every year.
Absolutely. And that's what I find too. We are the only people that can hold ourselves accountable to do better work.
Yes.
If we don't up the ante, I mean, I guess you can count on other people forcing us to do so.
Yes.
But without that will, without that interest, without that drive, it's hard. It's easy to coast, it's easy to slide down. There's a Chinese proverb saying there's no one that stays still in the water, because if you're not moving forward, you're going backwards. So I too try to up the ante every single season, be brilliant. this is the season 3, episode 1,
Wow.
and the first one that
Congratulations.
I
Congratulations.
joined. So
Thank
many
you.
firsts. I'm
Yes.
really excited
Yes.
about the
Yeah.
conversation we're already having
Yes.
and about the future guests
Mhm.
that we are gonna have join us very
Yeah.
soon.
No, you're very right. I think we spoke about how it is being an entrepreneur and letting the waves just, surfing with the waves and taking a hold of the waves yourself. And
I'm a shit surfer, but I get an analogy.
well, I've never surfed, so you're already ahead of me. I've never surfed, but honestly, in ASNA, I feel like you're surrounded by so many smart people in the executive team. We have students like Tanisha, and we're already ASAs, a student,
Really?
Yes, and it's incredible. So you see people like these, and you're surrounded by them, and it just makes you realize that, oh, this is possible, this is doable. So I've been lucky enough to be part of this organization, and it's really making me hit gas on this actuarial vehicle to go as fast as I can.
I love all your analogies.
Yeah.
So what? Speaking of all the water, what is the convention theme this year?
Oh, that's a very good way to bring it up, Jing. So the theme for this year's convention is Beyond the Falls, Discovering Opportunities. And I personally think that the theme speaks for itself. We're here, the Sheraton Hotel, overlooking the majestic, breathtaking Niagara Falls. And beyond these falls, beyond this wall of being anxious and nervous, there's so many opportunities. Go to the career fair, break that wall of anxiety, break that wall of nervousness, and just let yourself flow like the water. Meet as many people as you can and just try to build long-lasting relationships and exploit those opportunities because you never know where you would be. Like my first ever ASNA is where I got a coffee chat with WTW, the company I interned for. And that was this past summer. So if it doesn't give you an interview or a job, what it does is it's a building block.
Yep.
It lays the foundation for your next internship, for your next big boy job, your full-time role. So ASNA, that's the theme, that's the message, and we stand by it. And I think it's a wonderful representation of what we have going on here.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that one conversation led you to your first internship.
Yes.
So I know that not only you finished the first internship already with WTW in Toronto,
Yeah.
you're now starting a second one with Manulife in Montreal.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I mean, it's just been exciting. I moved to Montreal, and even my move to Montreal, okay, I feel like everything about me is just ASNA at this point. But my move to Montreal was inspired by how many people I know already in the executive team who are based in Montreal. So I already knew people in Montreal. So I wasn't afraid of taking this leap to go to this new environment. And it's been amazing. I love Montreal. I love where I work, Manulife. I have a wonderful manager who breaks things down very well for me. I couldn't complain. It's a role in experience analytics, and I look forward to diving deep into it and learning as much as I can. I mean, you as a student at Western, we were talking about like internships and how at your time internships were more like frowned upon. Could you?
Well, I guess, okay, so I am going to date myself after all.
Okay.
I went to Western in 2003.
Yes.
And when I signed for internship, I believe, maybe we could do fact check after this. I
Okay.
remember myself to be the only actuarial science student
Wow.
who signed up
Wow.
within the entire science programs.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of thinking in terms of, this is going to hold me back for a year.
Yeah.
Do I want to graduate in 4 years as normal student do, or do I want to graduate in 5 years, which somehow imply I'm not smart enough. So there was some resistance that way. And for me, it was obvious that I needed to get work experience because when I looked at all my competitors, I guess my classmates, my peers, and in a way my competitors, I felt in addition to have exams, it's not going to be enough. I need to understand how to tie the theory I learned in school with actual work because ultimately this is what I'm preparing myself for. So it was a strategic decision to pursue internship. I did 12 months with Hewitt Associate. It's a pension consulting firm. And it was so valuable because it's very different in a student mindset versus a professional mindset. And for me, that was an interesting transition, just to say. So it's definitely very valuable for me to go through that. And it was imperative for me securing a full-time job by the time I finished my internship.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I would have anything more advantageous compared to other actual science students looking for jobs, especially when University of Waterloo students already have their co-ops and exams. Exactly. So for me, that was a strategic choice. And I know now, based on what I heard from you and other Western students, I see that it's become a lot more common, which is fantastic because that's so important. It's also helpful for you to know what you're going in right? Because you chose this profession based on perceptions of how it will, the pay, the career progression, other things. And by trying that out in actual work, you get to validate a little bit. It's true, or maybe I'm not climbing the right ladder. So I find that very helpful.
No, you bring up wonderful points. I mean, when else would I get to try pension consulting for 8 months and then life insurance in Montreal for 4 months and then life insurance in Toronto for 4 months and then maybe reinsurance for another 4 months? It doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that in real world. As an adult, when you get a full-time job, you can't be leaving a job after every 4 months. It looks bad in your resume. It gives a bad image. So this is the only time you really get to experiment. And I'm completely on board. If anyone asks me for advice, what should I do an internship? I have mentees in Western University who ask me, should I do the internship here? Should I not do it? It's going to delay graduation by a year. And I tell them, go for it. Not only does it give you the opportunity to exploit these different fields, but it also gives you the ability to do exams while you're doing these internships, because exams are expensive and companies, most of them, sponsor these exams. So you can do these exams while you're on internship and you're also earning money. And
study days.
Study days are incredible. So companies really like help you to elevate yourself in the actuarial world. And honestly, as much as like actuarial science is, people say it's secure, but it's still like you still need to separate yourself. You need to find every little bit of leverage you can to ensure that you're secure and you're doing the best you can. And so that's what it's about, honestly, just separating yourself, making sure you're doing your best.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact that you have already tried different things.
Yeah.
Like if I see internship as almost like a bento box experience,
Yeah.
you get to have a bit of different things.
Yeah.
And that help you in deciding which area you want to spend more time on.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right. Once you become a full-time employee, it becomes harder to switch.
Yeah.
I mean, there are bigger programs where you get to rotate in different areas, but mostly that's still within a single employer. I will mention that throughout my 17 years as in corporate America, I spent 10 years with a reinsurer and then a few years in other places. I did get to live in Japan. I get to live in Zurich, London, England. Really expensive. And I gained a lot of weight when I was in London, England because
That's
of
interesting.
fish and chips.
Fish and
Right?
chips.
It's very delicious and very fattening at the same time.
I see.
So,
I see.
so you still get to experience different things,
Yeah.
but you have to ask for it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've listened to, and this was my case too,
Yeah.
and I've continued to hear students talk about, not just students, but young professionals that they're working. They're like, I'm working really hard. Why am I not getting tapped on the shoulder for these amazing opportunities? I was like, did you tell them that you are interested in this? Because the employers, your managers, they're not telepathic. They don't know what you're interested in if you don't tell them. So that's something that's really important too. So sample as many different things as possible. And once you are in the workforce, you can still share. Say, yeah, I would love to do a rotation. I would love to, try reinsurance after a while.
Yeah.
So a benefit of reinsurance or even bigger insurance companies is that there are more areas that you get to try. So Canada Life, for example, have a Canada Life Re, and reinsurers in general is a good place to look at how different things works because they have all the direct insurance as their clients.
Yeah.
So it's almost like consulting in a way, but in an insurance setting.
Wow.
So there are many ways to still branch out and do different things once you start working full time.
Wow, that is very insightful. I really enjoyed your conversation.
17 years of experience.
I mean, honestly, I wonder like how did you get the ability? What drove you after 17 years in great leadership positions in great companies to take this leap and switch over and become the leader of a AI-driven tech startup and the Be Brilliant Media? You're doing incredible things as an entrepreneur in the actuarial space. What inspired you to make this leap?
It started with a mindset shift.
Okay.
I allowed myself to, I started, so after 17 years in corporate America, as you pointed out, I started technical roles, leadership roles. I managed teams. I went on two private flight twice, which made me feel so like heliums for my ego, right? Oh my God, this is so cool.
Yeah.
But I felt empty after a while. And maybe that's where I was in my life, where I felt I'm more on repeat in the sense that I'm really good at what I do, but I'm just making rich people richer. right? Because I work for a corporate setting, is ultimately the benefactor are the shareholders.
Yeah.
So what I do ultimately is make it more profitable for them.
Yeah.
So I felt I didn't feel a connection,
Mhm.
like there's no tangible outcome of what am I doing it for besides this number. Bonus is great, and financial security is important.
Yes.
I'm not advocating for everybody to leave their secure jobs to do something else. But yeah, I started with a mindset shift. I started to want a different life for myself, and I didn't really know how to get to that point.
Yeah.
I just started to put one foot in front of another.
Yes.
And once you start the journey, things start to come together.
Okay.
There are things that I still miss
Yeah.
from working in corporate America.
Yeah.
Steady pay is one, and dental benefits, vision benefit, all the things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
I do miss now in my role, in my current capacity.
Yeah.
But on the plus side, I get to manage my time. I get to spend time only on things I want to spend time on. I don't have to do things just because I need to do that, but because I want to do it.
I understand.
And that is a whole different level of freedom.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing right now. Again, I can't say I figured everything out. Like, I'm just still in the steps of putting one foot in front of the other. I say yes to projects that excite me, like this. This is super exciting. I love it.
Yes.
And I feel if I just follow my intuition and follow my interest, I'm not a dummy. I've worked in Actuary for X number of years. I was in leadership roles. I'm not stupid.
Yes.
So I was sure that with that blind faith almost that this will work out.
I don't think it was blind at all, Jing. I think just having spoken to you, this is the beauty of ASNA to everyone listening, meeting people like you who make leaps like this. It sort of pushes you as an individual, as a student, to make leaps in your professional career. Just conversations like this, they give you goosebumps. And, to come to ASNA, to meet people like Jing, who have such great stories that inspire you to do great things. I think life is nothing but, experiences. And the more experiences you get from so many people, the better you're able to learn and make those dreams you have realities. So, and on that note, do we want to invite our leadership team?
I would love to welcome the ASNA leadership team.
Yes.
Right. Hi, Asnasius. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We are doing fantastic. Tell us, what is your name, program, and your role on the ASNA leadership team?
Great. So my name is Athanasios Lavazos. I am a third-year student at the Concordia University in Montreal, and I'm the president for the 2024-2025 convention year.
Amazing, Athanasios. So I work under the leadership of Athanasios, and it's been a true incredible experience. He has not only made sure everyone feels comfortable, he's also valued everyone's insights and everyone's ideas and taken them to the next level. Honestly, Jing, you've been here at the convention. How do you feel? Don't you think he's done a great job?
I love it. It's amazing. The energy is incredible. I was telling Darsh that even though I went through the actuarial program or statistic program, I've never been to an ASNA convention until now. And I'm so impressed by how lively everyone is. And there are some nerve-wracking people who are like looking at their resumes and shaking their, because they're nervous, right? Understandably. But it's amazing how much growth that you have had. The nearly 900 students, over 40 sponsors, and apparently you're a servant leader. So that's amazing, very humble. That's, it's easy to command attention as a leader, right? You can make people do that, but you don't necessarily have their respect if you force them. So, but it sounds like everyone just loves you.
Yeah. Well, I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't tell him this every time, but yeah, it's easy and we feel comfortable, being under his leadership. And honestly, Athanasios, how do you feel? This is the last stretch of the convention. How do you feel it's gone? How do you feel as a leader, just overlooking? Are you like so overwhelmed that you can't even process this? Is it something that's going to come later on? Because normally that happens, right? Like it happens towards the end that you reflect and you're like, wow. So how does it feel right now?
I think I could just start off by saying I'm incredibly proud just to see firsthand what the work that we've put into this past year has developed to. It's really interesting and amazing to see like how much work we put in throughout the year and how much, what we get in a matter of 3 days, right? So it's a high tense weekend, highly overwhelmed at certain times, but we're a big team. We push it together, and throughout the year we develop these strong connections, and we're just one big efficient team. And as you mentioned before, once I think if leadership does their job properly, it's You create one big, well-oiled machine, and the team just works together, and we put on this amazing convention, and we set precedents and examples for years to come.
So you have talked about taking ASNA to the everlasting new level and setting precedents for the actual profession. What does that look like to you?
It starts with obviously our initiatives. So trying to see what we could do beyond the convention. The convention is just, we see this the biggest gathering of actual students in all of North America. The event truly speaks for itself. So what initiatives do we do throughout the year to raise awareness about the association, spark interest, to look out for the convention in January? And you know, like for initiatives like Darsh with his podcast this year, it's something that, you know, you keep students involved, and it creates more enthusiasm in January when they come to the convention.
That completely makes sense. Very insightful, Athanasios.
Thank
I mean, I know this, but I want our listeners to know this. What inspired you to take on this hat, this president hat?
Honestly, it's the leaders before me. Like people like Sam, our previous president, who's been an amazing role model. I look up to her. You know, see people work, and it's also to see what you could get out of you know, a well working team. When everyone works together, it's very rewarding to see the accomplishments of and getting thank yous from students and sponsors, and hearing that they had such a great time at the convention, and or they really appreciate the work that, you know, the team puts on throughout the year, whether it's the newsletters, the webinars, the podcast this year. So it's really rewarding and gratifying to see that people appreciate the work that you put in, and that's really what motivated me to kind of join the association.
Awesome. Darshan and I were also talking about the amazing internship experience everyone managed to have. You have spent time in Intact, Munich Re, and there was one other one I'm
Mercer.
missing. Mercer, perfect. So as you're rolling off the ASNA leadership this year, what's next for you?
Well, I do currently have an internship. Currently an internship at Munich Re, and I'm going to continue my internship over the summer. And then I have 2 semesters left just to wrap up my degree. It's about time I finish. So, you know, just taking the year to finish up. You know, I'll be on the board of directors next year, so I'll be consulting the next leadership team on how to, you know, put on a good convention, and hopefully that could be really insightful for them. But, you know, just taking the time for myself for my final year and finishing school, and hopefully, you know, move forward with a full-time position.
Honestly, I think you deserve it, Athanasios. I know how much work this convention took. We've been running on almost no sleep. So hats off, and you deserve the rest for sure. I did want to ask you, how much do you think ASNA played a role in your pathway so far?
It hasn't played a humongous role. It's obviously starts with you making the first step, if putting yourself out there. It's very hard for a lot of people, and I do agree. It takes courage to put yourself out there, but I believe that once you are out there, you really see the benefits of, you know, the exposure that you get from joining associations, joining clubs, taking part of different activities. So the exposure that you get is amazing, and, you know, sponsors really like that, and it helps you develop as an actuary, as a professional, but also as a person.
Is there a fun fact you can share with us that most people don't know about?
Yeah. So a fun fact, I was really good I was really into theater when I was young. So I joined a lot of clubs, you know, putting on plays. That's something generally a lot of people don't know about me, but I was a big theater person back in high school.
That is awesome. We should continue that somehow.
Yeah. We'll see if hopefully if I have times after, you know, sorry, for exams, I'll maybe start getting back into that.
That's amazing. Thank you so
Awesome.
much for being
Thanks so
here.
much.
Yeah.
My pleasure. Thank you guys so much.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Athanasios, for joining us. Honestly, it's been incredible to have you here. I know you have a busy schedule and you have a lot of things to plan. You have a speech tonight, which we're very much looking forward to hear. But it's been a ride working under your leadership.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure working with you too this year.
Abigail, so great to have you today. So Abigail, can you tell us your program, your role on the ASNA convention?
Yes, so my name is Abigail, and I'm a student from University of Calgary, and my role at ASNA is the president-elect.
Right, Abigail. So Abigail and I have a bit of a history. We've worked together as well, and I'm really excited. I mean, I don't want to give it out, but I want to apply for the team next year, and I'm really looking forward to working under her leadership as well. She is also someone similar to Athanasios, has a lot of influence, puts her head down, works hard, and someone we look up to in the team. So we're really looking forward to our convention next year, and just the whole team, like how many ideas we have and all the things we're gonna do. So Abigail, I did want to ask you, I asked Athanasios this as well, but what inspired you to take this leap and apply for president?
Yeah, so previously I joined ASNA as the Director of Marketing in 2024 convention. And I just saw how systematic we are in terms of the planning of the convention. And I saw a lot of potential for us to build a brand that could build trust within the attendees and also sponsors, as we are the biggest actuarial students community to gather all over Canada every year. And so that's basically the reason why I decided to step up as the president of ASNA. With my experience as director of marketing, I feel like I could market ASNA to be more popular in Canada. Also, I really like to spread education, not just to actual science students, but for students that are in majors that are adjacent to actuarial science, because as an industry, I think we have a lot of opportunities, and I just love sharing opportunities with everyone.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. The brand part, we don't hear about that too much within our profession. So I love it when you mention that. What does that look like to you? Like, what does a perfect, successful branding campaign look like to you?
I see. I would say as a nonprofit organization, it's something that people commonly know, especially in the actual science community. I mean, I'm pretty sure that we are already known throughout Canada, but there will always be things that we can improve on, right? For example, building the trust in scheduling the interviews and coffee connections for the attendees, and trust to sponsors that we would serve them and treat them as, a very well guest. It's like inviting someone home and they're helping your kids out. And yeah, I hope I can do something that big for next year.
I think a big part of her and building her brand and the whole idea she has is clearly proven itself with the numbers we've had this year and the numbers we plan to have in the upcoming conventions, depending on if we can arrange accommodation to match those numbers, obviously.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to give you your flowers in how you are the first president of ASNA from the University of Calgary.
Yeah.
That is big because you have to pave this path for yourself. So I want to talk about was this difficult for you? Because no one has done it before you. You are paving the path for you, and then you have VP West Annie, who's coming in the team as well, and more people from University of Calgary who are coming in. We even have a volunteer who's we're going to talk to later, who's also from the University of Calgary.
Yeah.
So you're raising a lot of recognition on the West.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get your opinion on that whole.
Well, to be completely honest, I've been really lucky in the connections that I've made since the first year that I've been in Canada. Um, when I first came to university, I joined the University of Calgary Actuarial Society, and I got myself a mentor there. And fortunately, that mentor was already a part of ASNA executive team. And through there, she kind of connected me with people in the team beforehand. And I also tried to kind of stand out when I was a volunteer. During my second year in Toronto ASNA 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, and from then on, I initially applied as a webmaster, but at that time, fortunately, I was still working on my communication skills, and I didn't get it. However, again, I have value in my marketing skills, and that was basically my ticket in to the ASNA team. And I tried to prove myself that I am able to take initiatives during the convention, help around as much as I can. And by doing that, people from the team, they put trust in me, and I really value trust. So since they trust me, I'll step up, right?
Well, I do want to say that you started out by saying that you are lucky, but well, all I've heard is you
Mhm.
taking initiatives.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say it's not just me that always takes initiatives. There's Darsh, there's a lot of people in the team that always take initiatives.
Oh yeah, but we're not talking about Darsh.
yeah.
We're putting all the emphasis on you right now.
Yeah.
Do not undersell yourself. You've done
Okay.
a lot. You put
Mhm.
yourself out there.
Mhm.
You raise your hand.
Yeah.
You participate in things, and you didn't let discourage deter you. You
Yeah.
just tried again. So just take some darn compliment.
Credit. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you so much for
Yes.
saying that. I'll take it.
I think I also want to chip in and say this is one of the reasons it's fun working under her is her humility. And I also disagree. I think luck is where hard work meets opportunity. And
Yes.
this is a product of all your hard work.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Darsh.
I do want to ask one last question.
Mhm.
I know you do some really interesting things in your pastime as well. You badminton, you
Mhm.
dance, you do
Yeah.
some bouldering, which is very serious.
Very serious. Yes.
How are you, I mean, how are you consistently allowed to push yourself to take on these interests, like to try new things, to go out of your comfort zone? Is that just part of who you are, or is something you push yourself to do consistently?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say I was pushing myself very hard because then again, all the activities that I do, badminton, bouldering, dance, it was with the company of my friends. As introverted as I am, I still enjoy having people that I care about around me. And having that support really makes me want to enjoy life. I want to like try a lot of things that I haven't tried before. So yeah, that would be it.
So you're an introvert. You identify as an introvert.
I identify as an introvert, yes.
You.
I think I don't like putting labels on things. I feel like the more I think of myself as an introvert, the more I'll act as an introvert.
Oh,
So I just
interesting.
I'm just me and I
Okay.
move based on the situation around me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. No labels.
Mhm.
Yes.
No
Yes,
labels.
okay.
No labels.
So I'm gonna label myself for now.
Okay.
Mhm.
For a long time,
Mhm.
and again, comparing the actuarial crowd, I
Mhm.
seem outgoing.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I've been told that I'm an extrovert.
Yes, I agree.
You're wrong.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Apparently, I'm an introvert, and the definition of that difference is that introvert get energy from being alone,
Mhm.
and extrovert get energy from being around other people.
Mhm.
Well, I love being around other people for like projects. Is
Yeah.
doing is really fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I get my best thinking when I'm in the shower, when I'm doing things where it's just me and my mind. So that's when I learned just a couple years ago, frankly, that I was an introvert. So that was an interesting discovery.
Yeah, I think by definition, then also I guess we're all just a bunch of
Just
introverts.
yeah.
Because I also like when I'm alone, I'm able to like do my best work for sure.
I do want to say that introverts are not doomed for technical roles.
Mm.
You are in leadership. You are in leadership.
Yeah.
You know, there are things that we feel passionate about and we can make it happen. There's a common perception that you have to be extroverted to be seen as a leader, to be in sales roles. That is not true.
Yes.
There are many, many introverts that are excel so well
Yeah.
in that because they care about what
Yes.
they do too.
Mhm.
So definitely don't let, again, we want to stay away labels to begin with.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't let what your self-perceived barrier stop you from trying things you want to do.
Yeah.
Because really, you mentioned before, sky is the limit.
Sky's the limit.
Do whatever you want to do because
Yeah,
just put yourself out there.
I fully agree. So I guess my way to live is also if I'm thinking about something, that means some part of me really want to do it. And so I just do it.
That's so
such
cool.
a badass.
That's such a cool thing to
Such a
say.
badass.
That honestly
I
like
love
gave
it.
me goosebumps a little bit. The way you said it. Yeah.
Thank
Really
you.
cool.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you.
There is one thing, Jing, that we really want to discuss, and that is plans for the next convention. I know that you are in charge of this convention, Abigail, so tell us what is waiting for us.
Yeah, so earlier at lunch, I already announced that the next convention space would be in Ottawa, at the West in Ottawa.
Let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, I just thought that because Ottawa is the capital city of Canada, it's basically the heart of Canada, right? I want every students in Canada to be able to come to the convention. Location-wise, it's also pretty strategic, right? Because it's in the middle of Waterloo, for example. That's where we mostly cater, like our convention. And also we're pretty close to the east northern regions as well, Atlantic and
Yeah.
Quebec City,
Mhm.
Montreal.
Mhm.
But yeah, and that was my thought. It's just a way for me to, um, you know, let students have an easier life with traveling. As someone from the West, right?
Yeah.
Like I have to fly, and Ottawa has an international airport, so
Yeah.
their flights are accommodated there.
And Weston is such a beautiful venue.
Yeah.
Well, but next year,
Mhm.
are we gonna have over 1,000 students?
Oh, we'll see about the
Okay.
accommodations. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Perfect. But yeah, thank you so much, Abigail, for coming
Mhm.
here. Truly appreciate your time. It's been a blast, and we're at the final stretch.
Mhm.
Just for all of you who don't know, Abigail has barely been sleeping. She's been working like tirelessly. She had a speech earlier today, interviews to get through, and so thank you so much for doing this, truly.
Yeah,
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much for inviting me.
Isaac, tell us your full name, program, and your role on the leadership team.
Yes, of course. I'm Isaac. I'm a convention chair.
We just had this conversation about your name,
Yeah,
Isaac,
yeah.
Isaac.
Either sometimes I call myself Isaac, depending if what language you speak. I'm the convention chair for ASNA this year, overseeing the whole convention. And what else you wanted to to know?
No.
Give us a fun fact about
Oh,
yourself.
a fun fact. Fun fact, I recently just drove from Montreal to Vancouver within 6 days, so like 12, 13 hours a day on the road.
By yourself?
Yeah, pretty.
Oh my God, what hell such devastating situation that you have to make the 6-day drive?
I mean, getting to work, getting to my school, starting school on Monday and finishing work the previous Friday, so you gotta do what you gotta do.
No shit.
And that's why he's convention chair.
Yeah.
That's why he's convention chair. So Isaac, you were at Vancouver now, right?
Yes, I recently moved early September to Vancouver, yeah.
Are you doing a master's degree?
Yeah, I just started my master in actual science to do research actually. After doing my undergrad and with a little bit of experience in research, I really liked it. So I was like, might as well go a bit further with that.
Researching what exactly?
Everything around more mortality, investment, pension a bit, like all those elements kind of joined together at some point. So working in this area.
What is do you have a dream job? Like what you love to do with your master's degree?
Yeah, I guess I might be stirring a bit away from the traditional actual career. I kind of want to maybe find a job where I can apply those research skill and there's a bunch of job in quantitative research on the private side, or if I don't find something I like over there, academia is also a valid solution.
Wow. That is incredible, Isaac. Academia, I don't meet a lot of people who move on to quant and academia in that sort. You're very non-traditional in how you're going about your pathway. It's
Yeah.
unique. What inspired you to take this leap and move away?
I think I had a few experience with internship. I had a few internship in the past, and I always kind of liked the vibe of working with other professional or in a consulting and environment and stuff like that. But I was kind of missing the math part, the tech part, or the nerdy part that you kind of lose sometime when you're more in an applied field where you're more going to do the report for every day or every year.
Wow.
I was kind of missing the math part of it, so decided to take the leap.
So not only you're pursuing a master's degree, you're also preparing, as a convention chair, you are organizing with your, other people supporting you, hopefully.
Yes, of course.
This large scale convention, how are you like juggling? How did you juggle? Because obviously you already pulled it off.
Yeah, sometimes I ask myself about that as well. How did I do it? To be honest, I think luckily it was my third year with ASNA. In previous year, I didn't hold maybe as demanding of a job, but it kind of helped me already get used to balance school and work and ASNA at the same time. So I kind of have a leeway, and I already knew what I was going to do with that. So I think I knew beforehand what time to plan and when to plan it, and stick to that planning and adapt as we go forward. and just, I never really used a task note before. I started using task note as I took
Yeah.
on this role and really keeping up with my calendar. But yeah.
I mean, I can attest to his organization skills. Like he had a master schedule sent out early on, which sort of gave a timeline to everyone in the team of what they had to accomplish by a certain date. And this really helped everyone stay on track and make sure everyone knows what they're doing. But Isaac, this convention has been, just as someone who's like, not only as an exec who's been part of organizing it, but just as a student who's also observing it, it's been incredible. How do you feel about this convention now that we're at the final stretch?
To be honest, I think we've overcame a lot of trouble coming here, and I'm pretty happy with the final result. Even though maybe from the back scene there's some stuff we wanted, we couldn't quite achieve everything, but the overall experience and the sentiment I received from the sponsors and the students, I think mostly everyone was happy and got what they wanted out of this convention, and I'm very happy with it. And we were even able to push some new event and some new tools we offered and some new procedure for this convention that I think everyone enjoyed. So I'm overall very happy with how it turned out.
What is the most proud new thing?
I think this year's we decided to go fully virtual with the app. So we kind of dropped mostly all the paper we had. We used to have a booklet for the sponsors, for the students, which was a lot of a lot of paper and not maybe as practical. So we decided to take the leap, go fully digital with an app. So this year we developed a whole app to help the students, and it's interactive. They can communicate with each other, and I think this was something, it was new. We were not sure if students would actually communicate with each other on the app or go to the forum and share pictures. And turns out I recently checked and there was a bunch of pictures that students shared, and all the forum, like students are asking and helping each other out, like, oh, guys, if this seminar is still going on or whatever. And other students answer, like, we don't even have to do it ourselves. So I think I'm very happy on how it turned out, and I could not have imagined that people would use it as much as they did.
Is it keeper then the next year? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't want to speak about how demanding this role has been. I want our listeners to understand how much time you've been putting, how much time and effort you've been putting into this role. Maybe you could talk a little bit about going into it, how many hours you're putting it during the convention, how many hours you're putting, and is it doable?
I mean, it definitely is doable. We're at the 35th annual convention. I mean, we've grown in size and probably more demanding every year, but it's always doable. We did it this year again. I mean, there's still a day left, so cross fingers. But yes, I think it's the type of role that's more gradual. As closer as you get to a convention, the more time you'll need to put on, and you're a bit dependent on outside people, outside contractor. So some week you'll receive a bunch of email from contractor that are like, oh, I'm ready for this, I'm ready for this. And you might have to put 20, 30, 40 hours for 1 week just for this. But overall, I'd say an average probably 20 at the beginning, maybe 10 hours a week. And as we got closer and during my Christmas break where I didn't have school, so then it was good. So I could put like 40, 50 hours a week, sometimes just going over everything, helping out the whole team. And at the end of the day, you have a team of 9 people that are all also working hard. So you have to kind of keep up with all of them. But it's definitely doable.
Are you interested?
I mean, I will go wherever the tides take me, but it would be an honor to like follow the steps that have been set before me.
I mean, he definitely has been in the conversation for a future convention chair.
Hearing about the question, I was like,
Yeah.
So you're rolling off this year. Are you rolling off?
Early off?
Rolling off.
Oh, rolling off.
The leadership team.
Definitely my last year. Yeah, I finished my third year. It's going to be my third year with ASNA. And now that I'm about to finish my master as well.
What do you look forward to the most?
The free times.
It's an illusion. You're
Yeah,
writing
no, I
exams.
know it's an illusion because I know my supervisor is also waiting for me to finish ASNA, so he can offload some research on me. I know this week he's waiting for me to come back with his handfuls.
Oh my
But
gosh!
yes.
Wow. Good luck.
Thank you. But yeah, it's gonna be a bit more concentrate on one thing, maybe for a bit.
Do you plan to move back east or stay in Vancouver for a while?
I haven't gotten that far yet. I think wherever wherever the future leads me, it will be where I'll go. I'm still young. I still have, the freedom to go wherever I want. So
Yeah,
I'll see where is the best for me in the future.
that's awesome. Well, best of luck to you.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
Amazing.
I did want to ask one question regarding advice to students and joining the team, the executive team, and the convention team. What do you think it takes to be part of this team?
I think some people maybe sometimes think, oh, I can join, it's going to be good on my resume, and it's going to be a little bit of work, but it's going to be worth it at the end of the day. And I don't think you should see it that way. Yes, it's going to be great for your resume, but I think it will require quite a lot of time. And sometime you will ask yourself, like, is it worth actually putting it on your resume for all the time it takes? And you probably can account for that at some point during the whole process. But yeah, I think if you're a highly motivated individual, you like to balance multiple things at the same time. And to be honest, I don't feel great about myself when I have too much free time. I think once you get into a loop of always having something to do, when you're like, oh, I have nothing to do,
I understand.
isn't great. So I think for people who are maybe a bit like me or always want to push themselves,
You
That's
too,
fine.
right?
yeah,
Don't wanna
go
be
for
left
it.
out. But yeah, truly appreciate your time here, Zach. I know it's been a busy weekend. We're running on almost no sleep.
Yes,
So are the
yes.
other leadership team. So it's been a great conversation, and we're looking forward to put a neat little wrap on this convention and make sure everything
Yes.
goes
Both
smoothly.
times.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you for talking with me.
Thank you so much for being here. Wyatt, tell us about is this your first time experience here at ASNA?
Yes, I'm a first year both in university and at ASNA. So I'm so excited to be here. It's been amazing.
I mean, I saw Wyatt as a volunteer, and he immediately caught my hair. I mean, look at the blonde hair.
Oh.
It's hard to miss the blonde hair and the piercings. You have a great look, Wyatt.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we were just talking about the.
Yeah, I love your earrings. That's so cute.
Yeah, my mom got them for me. I have a little piece of her with me right now.
Oh, she did.
No. Oh my gosh, no. She's just far away.
And a piece of her. I'm so sorry. That was my immediate reaction.
That I could have chosen better words.
Where are you Where are you from, Wyatt?
I'm from San Antonio, Texas, just a little north of there.
So what brought you to Canada for the program?
Mountains, really intense programs too, because it's more competitive up here for actuarial science, and I want to be in that environment. And cold. I went from 40 above to 40 under, and I've never been happier.
Are you in Winnipeg?
No, I'm in Calgary. It hits negative 40 like maybe like a week, and then it goes away, but it's very, very cold.
How did you learn about how difficult actuarial science is in Canada versus America? What was your way into actuarial science? What made you want to pursue this?
So my way into actuarial science was I took an AP stats course down stateside, and I love AP. I took a whole bunch of them. And at the very end of the year, I was really young. I was like a 10th year because of schedule problem. And they were like, we're not going to let you take the AP test because you're going to fail. And I was like, okay, whatever, like fine. And then at the very end of it, I ended with an A, and I was so happy with it. So I talked to my stats teacher, who was an amazing teacher. And I was like, what can I do with this? And she was like, I have friends who are actuaries. Look into it. I feel like you might like it because you like talking to people, but you're also mathy. And that was kind of it. Like it just, ever since then, I've known I've wanted to do it.
I didn't think US is less competitive. I thought it would be more competitive because there's a lot more schools, no?
It's just not as normal because, like, for example, we don't really have co-ops in the US. We just have like summer internships. Like, it's not unheard of, but it's very commonplace here. So people just tend to graduate with more experience and exams here than they do in the US. So me being here and learning as much as I can and loving it will actually make it easier for me to get jobs on both sides.
You certainly know a lot about actuarial science as a first year. It's honestly very commendable. What pushed you to join ASNA, and how did you even hear about it?
I would say it's less of what and more of who. The second I got to University of Calgary, the Actuarial and Data Science Society just drew me in. And they have been the kindest and most wonderful people because they're all over Canada. So I just haven't met a whole lot of them in person. And the second I got here, they were like open arms for me. And they are just the nicest people ever. And whenever I joined, I became one of their junior executives. And I had like a mentor, kind of like Abigail did forever ago. And he was just like, you're coming to ASNA. Apply to this funding, whatever. We're going to take you. It's going to be so much fun. And they weren't wrong.
Yeah.
What do you love the most about your first ASNA so far?
Oh my gosh, it's hard to choose. I would like hats off to everyone who's done anything planning this. This is incredible. I would say Honestly, just anything that has to do with connecting. The Sun Life party was so much fun. The career fair was incredible. I really thought, I'm so happy when I get to talk to others and just, give a smile, give something, and just learn something about everyone else.
What is the one thing then you have learned about that you think will help you as you move forward in your career path?
I think the importance of I had a bit of a networking session before, like information like what to do at ASNA, like some tips, and this phrase stood out to me. He said, "Quiet confidence." Coming into a room, not believing that you're better than anyone else, but believing that you are you and you are good enough as that is, and just quietly having an air of like, I can do this. And I think ASNA has been like an exercise in that for the last, couple days I've been here, and it's been a great experience.
I mean, just being in your presence, I can feel the quiet confidence oozing off. So this is you're trying to put that into practice. You're putting that in practice, and it is very commendable.
I
But
appreciate that.
yeah, thank you, Wyatt, for joining us. I think you've been a great person as a volunteer. You've really done your best, done your job, and you have certainly made us as the executive team acknowledge your work. So thank you.
I appreciate that. I will be back.
Well, we look forward to that.
Maybe as an executive in a few years,
mean-
something to aspire
I
to?
mean, yes,
I would
definitely
absolutely
apply.
love to.
Definitely apply. We think these are the kind of people, social, outgoing, but they can still put their head down and work hard. I mean, I'm no professional at recruiting, but he is an impressive young candidate.
I appreciate that. I'd like to follow the UCalgary people that have started to make a wave around here, and I'd like to be maybe the next one someday,
Thank you.
Well, Darsh, it has been an amazing time that we spent together. So many cool guests. Our conversation has been just wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I completely agree. Honestly, Jing, this is honestly been one of my favorite experiences in all my ASNA so far. So this has been great. It's wonderful conversation. We've got to speak to wonderful individuals at so many different levels, and it's just been a blast. So I'm so happy that we could do this today.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well, if you enjoy listening, please do make sure to listen in at the official ASNA podcast.
Yes. And you can tune in on Spotify for that. And also, please make sure to check out Jing's podcast, the Be Brilliant podcast. Thank you for tuning in, guys.
Thank you.